Welcome to a small tutorial of Shotcut. We're going to show you the basics of Shotcut itself and how to use certain functions within Shotcut. We're going to start off with some simpler functions as the empty tab. So we got empty tab here and we want to actually have access to the tools. So by clicking on Wiedergabeliste, the top icon over here with the three dots and three lines, will give us the drop-in menu. We can drag and drop items or clips or audio clips into it. By also enabling time axis or Zeitachse, we get the bottom timeline. And on top of that, we can add one more thing, which is the Verlauf or the action bar. The action bar can also be replaced by the Pegelmesser, but we don't need a Pegelmesser as this is more for audio feedback for us. And we're gonna basically discuss only features of video editing today. So I'm gonna drag in two clips. As you noticed, as soon as I dragged it in, it started playing it. So this is a feature to just confirm that the clip was added. I'm gonna add in two basic clips, which we're gonna show how to combine and also use some basic effects on them. To insert these clips into the timeline at the bottom, you can click here or you can just drag and drop them into the bottom. You can also insert them by going into Datei and it should be data open. No, data open is for something else. No, it's mainly drag and drop. Just stick with drag and drop and you should be fine. Now, if we have several clips here, it's more advised instead of dragging and dropping the clip in to use a certain function. But for the basic of tutorial, we're gonna individually drag them in. As you see at the moment, the clicks are separated. And by using the magnet function here, the clips will lock onto each other. Not using the magnet function, and they'll just pass through each other. You'll see why that comes in handy later on. By clipping them onto each other, we know now that they're right on top of each other, and the transition of the two clips will be as such that the clip starts and runs till its end and just switches over to the next clip without a proper transition. This is one way of doing it. You can right click on the video clip and remove it from the timeline. You can also add in the timeline new audio lines or new video lines. These can help you later on to manage your video in total, and if you want to move out clips or later on. I'm going to delete them and basically go through the tools which you have available. Here we have the master boxes and the video one line. We can stop the volume of the entire clip in this volume. We can make it visible so it will not be shown in the center projection. We can stack or not stack the clip. Stacking means always the clip that is on the very top will be shown before the others are shown. This also means like if you have several clips in each of the corners, they'll be shown on top of each other's. And you can also lock the clip, which makes it unable to edit. This is handy if you don't want to mess around with the clip or insert anything. Now by clicking on those three lines here, you can add all to time axis. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth one down. This adds everything that's up here into the time axis. Note that if you have audio clips and video clips in there, it will add them in a chain into the video. You don't want that, so add first the video clips in and then add the audio clips in later. So I'm gonna add the audio clips right now. Gonna find one, any really, and drag and drop it in. Here we have a song for Pulp Fiction and two nice clips. We're gonna do something with the first clip. By seeing that timeline here, the line is where we're currently in the video clip section. Dragging it over a video in between will show that we're over the center and also the time of the center of that clip. I'm saying clip because it's not the entity of the video. If I select this clip, I only edit this clip. I don't edit this clip too. By going now on the top on Eigenschaften, I can increase the length of the video or decrease the length by increasing the speed of the clip. By increasing the speed to double, the length will be shortened to half, as will be realized as soon as I click down into the timeline again. As you see, the time of the clip has been shortened by half, and the clip itself will be faster, as you've noticed, but there's also a gap. This can be easily removed again by dragging the old clip onto it or just deleting the space in between. Use the right click function instead of the delete function. Now to change it back, click again onto it and drag the number back to 1. And let's increase the length of the video. We're going to decrease it by half the time, so we're going to go down in speed. Decreasing the speed will just lengthen the frames per seconds. This will lengthen the clip and it just ate the other clip. That's interesting. So we're going to drag and drop the old clip in. There we go. The old clip's back. Now we got a long clip of the plane starting up. Also just note that the audio has been shortened. Now, transitions. We're going to make the second clip also longer to have more to work with. Also, you have this bar here, which allows you to zoom in to the clip, making it more visible, and also the seconds. Note the larger the file of the video is, the more complicated it will make it for Shotcut to actually edit the clip. Now you can overlap the two just by dragging the one, even with the magnet function over. You can drag the two over each other and this will happen. You get a blue-violet cross. This is a transition. As you notice, when it goes over, you get a short transition. This is just a short transition. You can revert it by clicking on rückgängig. This will revert it to its original position, or you can just press Ctrl Z. Now let's do a longer transition. We drag it over a little bit more, and the transition will be a little bit longer. Now the transition itself is just 0.18 of a second. This is not long, but long enough to trick your eyes that there's crossing over from one frame to another frame, not making it too harsh as switching from one clip to another as we have currently. Not noticing that there's a sudden change and being rather harsh on the eyes. Now with the transition, there's one thing we can do. The transition itself comes with a standard transition effect. To change the transition effect, you click on it and then you click on Eigenschaften or information. There it gives you a video option. For some reason, while recording, I cannot show you all the different variables, but click on the Auflösen, this bar here, and it will give you a variation of options available. Now when looking over it, you get a circle iris or whatever not. You can also change the white changes or the mesh. This is more a personal effect if you really need it, but stick with standard if you don't want to mess around with it too much. Now let's go into more interesting things that you can do with Shotcut, but also more complicated. By clicking this button here, you actually trim at the point of the timeline the clip, making a new clip essentially out of it. Now we created two new clips out of one clip. By clipping again at another point, we just created a separate center clip. The separate center clip we can do something now with. Remember one thing, like if you change this clip now, these two clips will not change a video line into it. And we're gonna Control copy this clip and gonna use a very useful function of the video editor. It's this button here. It drags us to the last cutting point of the video. And we're gonna move to the upper video line and control paste. If we would have done it at the bottom, we just moved the clip on top of the other clip. I'm gonna show you what happens if we do it on the bottom clip. Now we're in the bottom line. If we just paste it now, we just pushed it in over the other one, but it pushed it over essentially. This can be useful for some other things. But now we're doing this here. At the top, you see this little filter Y icon. And by clicking it, you come into the filters menu. The filters menu, you can click the little plus button. And the first tab it will usually show is the favorite. The second tab is the video filters. And the third tab is the audio filters. And then this is a close menu. Let's open it back up and go into the video filters. I have it already selected in my favorites. By just clicking one of the stars, you can favorite the effects you like. I select the 3D text, which allows me to add 3D text to this particular clip up here. Not the bottom one, just the upper one. As you will see, we're going to make a text transition. We're going to keep it as 3D text and change it to something else. Here we can change the text to like that. Question mark. And here we have an option for color changes. This will change the color to either a platter of color, a rainbow of color, or a certain color that we choose. This can be useful. Here we also got the size changing. We can change the size to where we want it. Also the orientation, if we want it 2D, 3D. But do note that there's also a 2D text available. I just not forgotten where it is. And the orientation for whichever need you want. There is no other animation effects available at the current stage of time with Shotcut. So you're gonna have to live with what you got. Now we have that clip. We have a clip, a text, and it just suddenly disappears. This is not neat, this is not nice, and this is not what we want. Now we're going to add an additional effect. We had to add it in this order because this is the only way that Shotcut allows us to do it at the current moment. So now we're going to add two more effects to this. The video blend out and the video blend in. We're going to only use that on the upper clip, not on the lower clip. This will become apparent in a second because we're only going to blend out the text. Even though those two clips are the same, we're going to only blend out the clip with the text, and since their stacking is active, they will be on top of each other, and this will be on top of the bottom one. But since the text is a blend in, blend out, we'll get the text to disappear but the clip to remain. So let's blend in, and as you see, there's a black line, horizontal line, vertical line entered. We can just drag that around. And we also get, on the other side, another black dot. We can drag that a little bit over. This is automatically. You only need to pick one of the two. You don't need to pick both. And both will show up. But one of them will be hidden in a corner. So you just gotta hover your mouse in the corner till that black dot appears. And you should be good. Then you can move the corners around and have a transition. Now what's gonna happen is the transition has a already preemptive effect. So you're going to see a black and then the text for a short second and then a black again before it turns back to normal or returning to the clip. You see how it turned black just as it transitioned through the text. It just starts turning black. This is the effect of the transition, video transition. It turns black. We can remove this. By going back into filters, by selecting the video clip, we can select this here. This is basically removing the black transition. Just click on removing the black transition and you should be okay. Here's also now an audio fade in, fade out. activated. This comes on top of that, as the program wants you to do also an audio fade in, fade out. This is because the clip can sometimes come with audio, but you can also mute that, so, or remove those two. If you don't need them, remove them, but it's not going to change the program. Alright, we're back. A good feature of Shotcut is that even though when it crashes, you still get to recover everything that it kept. So if you lose, if the program crashes, you can always return to what happened by just restarting the program, as it has a auto recovery system integrated. So now we can just return to where we were. We had this little transition effect, then we had this black turnover, and as you see, the black turnover is now smooth. You don't see that this is now a separate clip. It seems like all is the same clip. And we got one more effect to show off before we end this video. This is a close-up effect. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger for myself. I cannot see it. Let's make this bottom line a little bit bigger. And also add the task list back in. There we go. Task list is back. And oh, we actually got two more things to do. Let's do the audio track first. By adding an audio track, you can drag and drop the audio track into the audio line or timeline. And now you will notice something. As soon as I drag and drop the item here, it will drag me to the end of the audio clip, as you will see in a second. At the end of the audio clip is where the time tag will have dragged me. Now if I want to go back to the start of the video clip, you'll see that there's a certain bit missing. Now the main intent, what you're gonna think is, oh, I'm just gonna drag this and drag this over here. This is a mistake. And you see why what's gonna happen in a second. This is gonna drag you right back to this pin where we were at the end. This is because it will always drag us back to where this pin is located. So always make sure you have the pin where you want to be, because if you move it, it will drag you back to it. So let's say I put the pin over here, I drag this, I drag this over here, it'll drag me back to the pin to be in my visible range, as you saw. Now let's cut the audio clip. By just selecting the timeline of the audio, we can now drag through it. Oh, alright. Alright, I believe I didn't do that. But apparently something like S. Let's do a cut over here by clicking again, like the video clip, S or this button here. This will do a cut as long as you're selecting the audio. And we can select this first section and get rid of it. Also get rid of the distance. Now, let's do another cut at the end of this by using the end clip. And let's get rid of the end. We're not gonna need that. Now we have a short clip with some audio. The audio is gonna be most definitely too loud, so let's decrease the volume by a volume. Here, increase and decrease filter, audio filter. Let's decrease it by, let's say 9 decibels. And this is gonna instantly do it as soon as we go back into the timeline. We can even do it while the video is actually playing, but don't push it too far, as Shotcut has a tendency to crash with too many effects on top of each other. So better do smaller clips and save it as smaller clips and then attach them all together once you're done. That also helps you when you're wanting to edit something. So let's listen to it. Alright, that's very good. But I've got to show you one thing now. As you will notice, it just cuts off. Like before, we don't want it to just cut off, do we? We want it to actually just blend out like we did with the video. And this time we can actually do the blend out, audio blend out, audio section, audio blend out. It will be already in your favorites, but if you don't have it already, it's audio blend out. And now we get the same horizontal, vertical line, which we had before for the video clip. Now this time it's just for the audio clip. Now, and then there's this barking at the end. I don't know what this is. Wouldn't even call this part of the song, but apparently it is. Let's drag a little bit longer. And I believe we crashed again. Common causes for the crashes on Shotcuts can be oversized files. So if you have them in an oversized format, Shotcut has problems to deal with it. Maybe try formatting your video files first before entering them into Shotcut itself. The rest of the tutorial I can do later on, and I'll keep the video a 20-minute video for now. And I hope you enjoyed so far and learned at least something useful from this video. Let me know if you want more videos like this, or if you suggest any other ideas that I should be talking about within Shotcut itself. Until next time, see ya!